Hello, and welcome to this special Christmas episode of Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 11 of Toradora. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So it would seem to me that summer break might just be over. They'll look like they're sort of heading in the same direction. Man, it's interesting how quickly they sort of sped through summer vacation. The only thing they really did was that business at the beach house. And then after that, they just sort of skipped to the end. I feel like there might have been a little bit more room for exploration or character development or something. Oh boy, once again we have this sad teacher. Boy. She must have just turned 30 because she seems incredibly bitter this episode. Oh dear. Alright, so this seems like the primary conflict here is going to be unreasonable expectations for the cultural festival. You're going to have to cram a whole bunch of stuff that would take 2 days into a 1-day period. Like, that's really not feasible, but, schools are nothing if not poorly organized, so that things are coming down to this shouldn't really be much of a surprise to anyone with any amount of experience with a public school system. So, tellingly, Ryuji's still sort of caught on what was happening at the beach house. I think he is understandably reading into what Minori said, thinking that perhaps maybe she was indicating that he's got a shot. Considering that he's been making, essentially, good progress towards his goal, that's a reasonable thing to be thinking about. Alright, so this guy strikes me as a person with big ideas that will very quickly boil over into trouble. I'm wondering where he's going with this. Is he gonna drill a hole in the dividing wall or something? Oh, I see what's going on here. He's sort of leveraging his political office to influence the culture festival. Interesting. Yeah, this guy's just sort of like pushing his fetishes on everyone, it seems. Oh man, I can already see where this is going. He's touched off basically everyone's latent fetishes, you know. Why not why not everybody sharing the idea, you know? Everyone has their own preference. Oh dear. Man, I can only imagine what would happen if Ryuji actually spilled the beans. That would probably result in him just being lynched in the school. Like, oh man, I can scarcely imagine what Taiga would do. She'd probably chuck him off the second floor. Oh, Kitamura, you ingenious devil. He has touched on the solution that will essentially take care of everything. You know, rather than just maids or whatever that style of dress is called, you know, why not cosplay instead so everyone can sort of choose to some degree what they want to do, but in such a way that everyone benefits. Oh dear. It seems like the status quo is well in effect, and Ryuji is being press ganged into repairing some clothes that were torn in an accident. Man, a lot of people really just do treat him as though he's not good for anything but either menial labor or as a delinquent. Ryuji. I don't think that's a good sign, dude. She just kind of ignored you. Just changed the subject and left. Alright, so this is the second time we've seen a shot of Taiga's phone going off. One has to wonder who precisely she's ignoring and why exactly she's doing the ignoring. Up. Okay, here we go. Parental issues once again. Yeah, well, I guess this sort of puts Taiga's attitude in perspective if her dad just got remarried and then basically kicked her out. I mean, sure, he set her up in an apartment, but that's a rather abrupt thing to do. Oh dear. You know, it almost makes sense that disparaging one's father figure would get Ryuji's mother's attention in an entirely inappropriate way. I feel like there's got to be more story related to that, but we just haven't seen it yet. Especially considering how Ryuji's mom has been essentially like a background joke character who only shows up on occasion to be the butt of a joke. Uh-oh. Yeah, the arms race is accelerating again. Ami is volunteering Taiga for something she clearly doesn't want to do. Of course, the worst part is that they're deciding this democratically, so if everybody wants to go for it, Taiga just has to suck it up. Man. Fortunately for everyone, Kitamura intervened and sort of calmed her down, albeit I guess somewhat unwittingly on his part, he doesn't realize quite the effect he has, I don't think. Oh, looks like they've sprung the plan. Alright. So I think Minori doth protest too much. I'm wondering what her stupid idea is going to be. Alright, so it's interesting that they're sort of bringing up that plot point previously, that she really likes scary stuff, apparently, so, let's go for a haunted house. Man, once again, the teacher really shows that she's bringing some heavy baggage everywhere she goes. I'm wondering what exactly her issue is, aside from being single and 30. Uh-oh. It seems like there was a whole bunch of subterfuge going on. They weren't actually going to vote, apparently. They were going to draw from a hat. And they've drawn an idea that nobody likes. Man, don't you like it when the compromise leaves everyone entirely unhappy? Great, isn't it? Uh-oh. It seems like Taiga's father is not taking too kindly to being ignored and seems to have emptied out her bank account. Oh dear. So unfortunately, it seems like this is the wrong tactic. Taiga strikes me as incredibly intransigent, and something like this will only make her dig in her heels that much more. So I guess fortunately Ryuji managed to talk some sense into everyone, but somehow he got shanghaied into doing everything in her place, talking to her father. One has to wonder how precisely Ryuji got sucked into this. I mean, at least Taiga's father seems to be an amiable person. One wonders where Taiga got her personality. Probably from her mother. So I'm wondering if perhaps, this guy does actually have a temper, but it's just something he's mastered and keeps under control most of the time. Oh boy. I guess this was to be expected, the uncomfortable questions and all that. Ryuji doesn't hold up very well to scrutiny, so I'd imagine Taiga's father's gonna get the wrong idea post-haste. Alright, so we're kind of getting both sides of the story here. Taiga's father is sort of implying that Taiga left of her own accord, and he was just sort of taking care of things to make her life as easy as possible. But now, he wants her to move back in, and surely Taiga doesn't want to do that if the whole reason for leaving was her stepmom in the first place. I'm wondering what precisely the angle is here, because something strikes me as a bit not quite on the level. You know, it's gratifying to have Ryuji echo my sentiment after I voice it, saying that, you know, Taiga's father's kinda weird, and something's not quite right. Oh, okay. Yep, I figured this might be the case. Taiga is not receptive to him butting in. Granted, she did invite him into this issue. At the same time, you know, sort of offering unsolicited advice. Well, I wouldn't do that, I guess. Because he certainly doesn't know both sides of the story in their entirety. I'm sure there's a million little details on both sides that he doesn't know about. And it really seems like that's the case based on Taiga's reaction. So back to the cultural festival, it seems like they're going forward with that wrestling show despite nobody really wanting to do that. He even wrote up a script. Alright, I'm thinking that the teacher's acting maliciously here. You know, she's bitter and single and 30, and she wants to take it out on everyone by ruining something that should be fun for students. Man, I hate teachers like that. I hate people like that, more to the point, but teachers especially, because, like, you know, they're around kids. Teachers shouldn't pick on kids. Oh boy. Yeah, somebody's editorializing here with the script. So Taiga and Ryuji are the villains, and Ami is the hero. Now, it seems like a pretty derivative sort of plot, but, you know, it could be fun. Of course, I can obviously foresee things going off the rails. You know, wrestling is scripted, and because of that, it's not necessarily as physical as one might assume it is. But I feel like Taiga's not gonna hold back. Like, she's gonna put somebody in an armbar and, like, pop their arm out of socket or something. Oh dear. It seems somebody's playing 3D chess here because the script sort of takes into account how Taiga would actually respond to things. And so it seems like she's playing along even though she's, in actual fact, rather upset about the state of affairs. Alright, so the plot's thickening a little bit. It seems like there's been an element of competition introduced to try and energize everyone. But, on the other hand, you know, none of the prizes really seem worth it since they all seem to be inevitabilities anyways. I mean, like, on the one hand, coupons from the supermarket definitely pique Ryuji's interest, but not everybody is as pragmatic as he is. Uh-oh. Ooh. Strike first, strike hard, I guess. Taiga's not playing around. I guess that spoils any chance of having a step-sibling. Alright, so we have an interesting dichotomy here of you need to do what makes me feel better versus Ryuji trying to do what is best. And, you can sort of see both sides of the issue here. Ryuji might not be acting as tactfully as he could, but it does seem like he's acting in her best interest. Of course, Taiga objects because it's not what she wants to hear, even if it might be good in the long run. I think there's room for compromise here. You can sort of take a middling approach. Well, it seems like he's managed to sort of mediate things. Whether or not that state of affairs will continue, if things will blow up again, remains to be seen. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. Merry Christmas, Space Cowboy.